All right. So, welcome to today's Q&A. We are live. It is noon central here on the 4th of June already. Hope your guys' day is going great. This is an opportunity for you to get your questions answered. So, every Tuesday at noon central, we go live here on our YouTube channel. If you have a specific question, really the best thing to do, and I keep pointing over here because this is where my chat is, but the best thing to do is to ask your question right in the chat. If you're wondering about what we have out of your specific area, please put your zip code and even your years of experience if you have experience. If you don't have experience, let me know where you live because we do have some training opportunities if you have a valid Class A CDL and are a recent graduate of an approved school. So again, the best way to do it is to start with your area code or your zip code, and let me know where you live so that I can kind of give you more details as we go about. So that's where to get started. Now, if you want to speak to a recruiter, this telephone number right here, 877-433-2537, that will get you directly to the recruiting department. So in the meantime, here I am. My name is Jessie. I'm here with Decker Truckline to answer some of your questions. I appreciate you guys joining me today. Dean is here. Hey, Denver is 74 and dry. Yes, dry here in Montana. Extremely windy though. Hopefully you're loaded if you're coming through. If your trailer is loaded if you're coming through the Montana area. Pretty decent other than it's very, very windy. Has been for the last couple of days. So, which makes me think that if we're windy here, I-80, Wyoming, they've got to be windy as well. Joe, how are ya? Hey there. Glad to have you. And of course, Katie is there as well behind the scenes. Appreciate you guys hopping on. Joe says 88 in Ohio. Ooh, even nicer. Nice. Starting to get closer to the summer, right? Some full swing for some of you, which means there's going to be more Rugrats. I was going to say Rugrats. There's going to be more kids out there on the road. School is out or is about to be out for a lot of locations. So you'll see probably more people out on the road, whether they're high schoolers just recently getting their license or if they're kids running back and forth to playgrounds and parks and running around the house or whatever. Just be aware of pedestrians is what I mean by all of this. Be aware when you're in any of those, especially more urban areas. As for overall, it's construction season. So we gotta be aware of all the construction signs. If you take a little bit of time before you go out on your run, whether it be 15, 20 minutes or so, and you're planning ahead, right? You're planning your trip, knowing where you're going to stop, or at least where you plan to stop throughout the day, and when you'll eat, when you're doing your pre-trip, you're doing your post-trip, you're looking at it all, right? What your route is. Make sure that you are also looking for weather, and you're also looking at whether or not there's construction. A lot of that information should be available to you as well. So that'll help you plan the load and have a better understanding of the time it's going to take to get from point A to point B, and if you need to allow yourself a little bit more. So do your due diligence if you would, please. Just make it a whole lot easier for you. Oh, I see, says. You're going to get some storms in afternoon in Iowa. Whew. Well, we definitely have, as I creep under the blind here, we definitely have some darker skies out northwest. Yeah, what are my directions? Northwest of us here. So I would bet that we are also going to get some storms. We had a little bit of hail over the weekend. I don't know if anybody else did. Nothing too dramatic by any means, but we did have a little bit. I saw that several areas within the Midwest were getting tornadoes. So I hope you guys, again, do your due diligence, check the weather. I know that a lot of times when we think this time of year we're free and clear, we don't have to worry about that kind of stuff, but really we still do. It's an ongoing thing, right? You might not have snow to deal with. You might. If you're in Montana, we had snow last week. But at the same time, tornadoes or severe heavy winds, things like that can definitely throw a wrench into your plan. So please do your due diligence. Make sure that you're looking ahead for giving yourself plenty of time to get to, like I said, point A to point B. So let's talk a little bit about Decker and some of the different positions that we have. Again, if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat. I'll stop with whatever soapbox I'm on, and I will make sure that I address your questions right away. That's what this is all about anyway. So that's what we'll do. First of all, when it comes to available positions, we have a couple of main divisions that we run. We have our over-the-road refrigerated division. We have, which is coast to coast. Most of it's going to be west of the Mississippi. A lot of longer runs in some of our more regional areas, but it's usually 2 to 3 weeks out at a time and then home for 3 to 4 days. Then we also have our more regional refrigerated, which is about 11 days out at a time and home for 3. And that one sticks mostly within the Midwest and towards the east. So basically, and this is a not vague necessarily, but this is an average. Most of it's going to be most of it's going to be east of Denver and west of I-95. So usually we're within those areas, or that area is where you'll see the majority of the freight for our more regional refrigerated division. And actually for our over-the-road flatbed as well. It's going to be about the same region. A lot of up and down the Midwest, no matter what division you're in here at Decker. But again, with the more regional refrigerated and the over-the-road flatbed, basically between Denver and I-95, that's a lot of area, I know, but it's more likely to an area that you would see. Now, we have our over-the-road refrigerated, like I said, it does go out west. That one, like state of Washington, Northern Oregon, I-95, I-5 up from California up through Oregon and towards Seattle. We do a lot of runs there. Now, we don't hire out of all of our western states, even though obviously we're going to run through most of them, but we do have some availability here and there within our western states. Las Vegas being one of them, about 3 weeks out there. Missoula, Montana. If you are in Montana, we do have you bring the tractor and trailer to Missoula on your home time. We have a terminal there with quite a bit of facilities for as much as the the professional driver center, as well as our shop and our dispatch. A lot of that is there as well. So Flatbed Trucker says I-80 is closed to the light wind profile vehicles under 40,000 gross vehicle weight. That's for Wyoming. Ooh, thank you for that. Like I said, the wind is there. I'm sure that's affecting that area. Joe says, I can't wait to get to Fort Dodge. When are you getting to Fort Dodge, Joe? When are you scheduled? So yeah, we've got refrigerated, we've got flatbed. We have a more regional flatbed as well. So if you live in areas of the upper Midwest, and I'm talking Milwaukee, Fort Dodge, Iowa, Iowa City, over to Toledo, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, Chicago. Those are all areas that we hire for our more Midwestern flatbed division. And that one can get you home on a weekly basis. So right now, that is our more regional of all positions that we currently have available. And this changes from really week to week, depending on availability, not only for individuals who live in the areas, but also for the amount of freight that we have in the area. So if we expand in certain areas with freight, obviously it opens up more opportunities. So we kind of look at that every single week. But we have our Midwest flatbed division. That one has a minimum pay of $14.50 a week and home weekly. A lot of short runs in that division. But yes, home weekly, usually coming home on a Friday night or a Saturday morning, and then back out either Sunday night or early Monday morning, usually for a Monday morning delivery. Now, with our over-the-road divisions, with flatbed, it's home every other weekend. And with refrigerated, not usually on a weekend, or definitely can't guarantee you on the weekend at least, because some of the freight just runs through it. The cutoff for your payroll is Tuesday night, tonight, and you get that in to get paid on Friday. We'll talk about some of the minimum pay because I know that's going to be a question that a lot of you guys have. Just know that it is minimum pay. That's your safety net. That's not maximum. Keep in mind your rate of pay per mile and the miles you run can and probably will exceed your minimum pay, but it's really nice to have that safety net when there's some uncontrollable, especially when the industry is a little wonky compared to what it's been in the past, right? Like, we're all making adjustments. Thankfully, we have that minimum pay safety net there for circumstances that, kind of come in and out of your control. Joe says, do you guys have dry van trailer division? Joe, we do. However, a big asterisk on this one, we don't currently have any available dry van positions. Those are all full. They've been full for a while. If we do expand within our dry van again, we'll open up more opportunities. But for right now, as we're sitting, those positions are all full. And it's been a while since we've had any of those advertised. So to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure the running lanes on those. I want to say the upper Midwest, sometimes we were going down into the South. So I'm not sure if that's still the case. But nonetheless, if it does open back up, I will get more details. I'll get more specific so it'll be accurate at that point. But right now, it is refrigerated and flatbed positions that are currently available. Flatbed Trucker says, I just looked it up quickly and posted it. I'm not in Wyoming. Oh, well, I still really appreciate you. Thank you for doing that, because that is that is always an area that has something, right? Joe says, I'll be a flatbed driver. Awesome. And starts on June 10th. Okay, so I'm going to and Joe, you probably have gone over this with your recruiter already, but for those of you who aren't aware, let's talk a little bit about the orientation process and how that, how those steps come about. Once you're approved and you've scheduled a date for orientation, so let's say the 10th, it's a Monday through, it's a 3.5 day orientation usually for an experienced driver. For someone who's not experienced, then you can expect up to, you can expect a week-long orientation, Monday through Friday, for an inexperienced driver. It pays $500 for completing orientation, so you'll get that whether you're an experienced driver or an inexperienced. It's just the amount of time that you'll be in training or with the orientation crew that would be based off of your experience level. Now, going into flatbed, you'll also have the securement and tarp training. If you have experience in flatbed, then you might just be testing out of that training, but you'll still do some hands-on to demonstrate. You know what to do. We'll show you how to do it. We'll have you demonstrate it. If you don't need to dive deeper into the training, then you basically will be testing out, and then we'll get you assigned to your truck if you haven't already been assigned to it. So the orientation process, before even getting to orientation, is making sure that your physical and your drug tests and your online orientation are completed before you get here. So the online orientation, you'll be sent a link and the login information to our platform, which is a Luma training. It's e-learning platform. And you'll go through a number of modules, which usually consist of a video followed by a few questions. Some of them are, instead of a video, some of them it's just text followed by a few questions. And then you move on to the next one. You pass that, you move on to the next one, and so on and so forth. Once you've completed the online orientation, then we'll know that you're ready to get started for orientation on Monday. If you haven't completed that, you won't be able to start orientation. That's why we send that to you ahead of time. Otherwise, everything is, out of order. And if you don't have that done ahead of time, you will be behind in class and kind of learning things backwards. So get that done ahead of time. You'll also have your physical. If you already have a physical that's good for another 6+ months, then we can use that one. But we will need to have your long form sent over and approved by HR before we can, before we have you, do your drug tests and stuff. Because if we don't have the long form or we don't have that one approved, then we'll have to get you scheduled for the physical. And it's easier just to have it done all at once. But if your physical is good for another 6 months, odds are you're probably okay. You just need to get that over to us. Then we'll schedule your, if we need to schedule your physical, we'll do that as well at the same time. But we'll get your drug test scheduled, your urinalysis and the hair follicle. We do both of them. And then that's it. Those are the 4 things. But you also get a $100 bonus for completing all of that ahead of time. But to be honest, you need to complete it all ahead of time because that's those are just the requirements. Makes life a whole lot easier. You will be thankful that it's done ahead of time. I'll tell you that one. But yeah, so it's a $100 bonus. So technically, you get $600 for orientation instead of $500, and you'll get that on Friday when you complete orientation. So orientation starts on Monday. You'll get that on Friday. You'll have a if you're dispatched out. So if you're an experienced driver, you'll get dispatched out before the weekend, ideally, and then all of your paperwork needs to be in by Tuesday night. I'm trying to explain how the pay structure goes here for you coming out of orientation, because usually for a lot of us, when we start orientation, we want to make sure that we know, okay, when can I expect my first paycheck? How am I going to budget those next couple of weeks, right? I mean, that's a pretty normal question. So first of all, we take care of the rental car or flight, depending on whatever way you get to Fort Dodge. But we'll take care of your transportation to Fort Dodge. We'll take care of your hotel and your meals while you're here. We don't shack you up with anybody. Those are single rooms. So we'll take care of those while you're here. Now, you will probably see a repayment agreement, which is part of the, what do I want to say? That is part of the online orientation, I think, that you'll see, or the email from recruiting. I was trying to remember what order that goes into. But that repayment agreement just identifies that, hey, we've taken care of your physical and your drug test and your transportation, and these are the expenses that we've incurred to get you to orientation. Now, if you left within the first 6 months, you could be responsible for a portion of it. Each month, we knock at least $100 off of that. And then come 6 months, no matter how much is still on it, it's null and void. It's just, it's like an accountability really along the way for both parties. But that repayment agreement, you'll probably see, I want to say before you see the online orientation. So, but you'll receive that ahead of time either way. And where was I going with that? Oh, so anyways, your hotel and your meals are covered. When you get to orientation, you've got, whether it's a 3.5-3 day orientation for an experienced driver or an inexperienced driver, a full week of orientation. Either way, whatever loads you got in by Tuesday night will be paid by Friday, or will be paid on Friday, direct deposit. So that's why we want to make sure that we have a voided check for direct deposit, so it'll get into your bank account. Some banks, they have like a week delay, but for the most part, they're right on cue, so you're pretty good there. But again, you'll have that $600 for orientation pay. That'll be given to you the Friday you completed orientation. So right then and there. What am I missing? Okay, so paperwork and everything, and by Tuesday you get paid Friday direct deposit. And then that will continue to be the rotation from at that point on. Keep in mind that with the minimum pay, if you had as long as you have all of your paperwork in, you've been available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week, so those 2 requirements. There are no load refusals, no late loads, no CSA violations, and no preventable accidents for the week. As long as you've followed those 6 criteria, then you'll get the minimum pay on Friday each week, which again, in most cases is $1,000. Now, if your rate of pay per mile, especially for those of you who are experienced drivers, for that rate of pay per mile and the miles that you run, if that exceeds that minimum pay that is for the division you're in, you're going to get the better of the 2 either way. And that's ideal, because obviously we want to make sure that you're getting paid for the work that you do. So there you have it. Joe says he's got everything done. Perfect. You're on task. You're set and rip-roaring and ready to go. So that's fantastic. As for The rest of orientation, the 2.5 days, 3 days, it's really going to be based on how smoothly things go as far as questions. If you need to take extra time for securement training, that kind of thing. But we will obviously work to make sure that that is as smooth as possible for you, with as much training as you need, so that you're not getting dispatched out without the proper training, whether it be for load securement and training, or running the TransFlow, the tablet, or anything else that maybe just knowing your hours of service, knowing the policies and procedures, that kind of thing. So that's all going to be available to you right there during orientation and ahead. Plus, you'll be receiving our we call it a workbook, but this manual has a whole lot of information that will be extremely useful to you along the way. Something that you can refer back to and easily find the answers. Plus, you'll have an ambassador. So we have an ART program, which is an ambassador program, that you'll be assigned an ambassador who will basically be your go-to for additional questions, at least within your first 60 days of being here at Decker. So it's a nice assignment there for you, basically, so that you can reach out to them. If you don't know the answer, that's definitely someone to ask. If they don't know the answer, they'll go find it, but odds are they'll have the resources available to answer your questions, the know-how and experience. So, yes. But that's really what orientation is all about. For those of you who are students, you'll follow orientation with 2 to 3 weeks with a trainer, and we pay you $100 a day to go with a trainer, so roughly $700 a week for training. And again, so up to 3 weeks, depending on flatbed, refrigerated, where all you're running. If you're dispatched out and you're hitting, you've already been out for 2 weeks or so, it's just getting you back to the terminal to get to your truck. So it might take a little bit extra time. You are assigned to a truck. In any of the available positions that we currently have, they're all assigned trucks. And that would be mostly a 579 Pete. The majority of our trucks, there we go. That was rough. The majority of our trucks are the 579 Peterbilts. We also have some Volvos in the flatbed division. It's going to be the 740s. We have some 780s and 860s as well. We have a few Freightliner Cascadia Evolutions also. But yeah, just depending on what's available for the truck, or what trucks are available is what you'd be assigned at the time. All of our trucks are super well maintained, but they are also very, very well equipped. Amenity-wise, we have APUs, refrigerators, microwaves, inverters, of course. We have CB units in all of our trucks. They're double bunk trucks. The Ultraloft, the 579s have the Ultraloft there. They have, I think I said microwaves. They do have CB units. We have the TransFlow. We have the tablet for communication, fuel routing, things like that. What am I missing? These trucks are super well equipped. TVs, oh my gosh. We have the Epic View satellite television programming in our trucks. I do want to correct myself from a couple of weeks ago. I said that we will be, actually it's about a month ago, I thought we were ready to get the upgrade for the Epic View Plus, which is very exciting because that is going to provide better, what do I want to say, it'll be streaming, but it'll be better internet service. Right now we're using the data from the tablet for those of you who are using Wi-Fi in the truck. But when we transition over from Epic View to Epic View Plus, we'll be using the streaming capabilities, which is faster internet. It's 5G, it's Verizon, a lot better program there for you. So it'll give you additional, better overall streaming capabilities. So you really appreciate that. Joe says, hey, could I buy a coat or some stuff for the company store? Yes or no? Absolutely. You can't tell now, but I do have a Decker shirt on. I'm too short. There we go. We do have our Decker t-shirts, we have polos, we have sweatshirts, we have gloves, we have jackets, we have just a huge array of things when it comes to the Decker, the Decker store. And if you mention to the training department, they usually do run you over to the store. It's right next door from the training facility, and Steph or Katie will open it up so you can kind of explore the lanes there. It's not a huge store where you've got multiple aisles, but you do have a couple of different directions you can go into explore options. And of course, you might want to pick up one of those Best Fleets to Drive For t-shirts. We love those. But yeah, there's quite a bit in the store. And if I heard correctly, hopefully I'm not announcing this too early, but I did hear that we might have a new t-shirt coming out for the 4th, which is usually a pretty big hit because we have a lot of professional drivers who prefer those 4th of July t-shirts that we have. So anyways, we'll get more on that when I have details and I'm not speculating, right? But back to the streaming capabilities. I got ahead of myself. We don't have all of the hardware yet, and we will need to get that. So once we have the hardware, we'll be able to upgrade during PMs, and that should be a lot of fun to do along the way. So once we have that. But more information to come as I get updates so that I'm giving you accurate information as far as when we'll be doing those upgrades. Again, that is for the Epic View Plus. Right now we do have Epic View. They are 22-inch televisions, and you already have it. It's just, it will be an upgrade from that on. But yes, you can get a coat and all that good stuff there, Joe. It'll be fun. Benefits. Where are we at for benefits? Benefits are Blue Cross Blue Shield. They start after 60 days, and that's going to include options for health insurance, dental, vision, prescription. You guys, the prescription is huge. Several years ago, I remember that prescriptions were probably one of the most frustrating expenses for some of the professional drivers out there on the road. Because A, you couldn't renew your prescription while you're out on the road, and B, they were very, very expensive, and they still are expensive. However, with the prescription plans that we have, not only can you order online and get 30 or 60 days so that you don't have to juggle that, plus we have Doctor on Demand that makes life a whole lot easier when it comes to ordering or having to re-up your prescription, right? Because they can take care of a lot of that for you. But we also have the $0 co-pays for generic and for some prescription, some brand name. So it just depends. You definitely still want to look them up to make sure that yours are covered. But yeah, $0 co-pays for generic and brand name. That is huge, you guys, because Steve was telling us, this was several months back, but he mentioned that it saved him on one prescription alone $1,800. That is insane, first of all, but what a savings. $1,800 a month on one prescription. That blows my mind. Anyways, $0 generic is pretty much all locations except for Walgreens and CVS, and it is at some of them still. But then we also have a $0 copay for brand name and specialties online. There are two different programs, but you just have to sign up for them separately to make it. You're going through the paperwork process, but yeah, it saves you a bundle. Joe says, is there a company store in Fort Dodge? Yes, our main terminal is in Fort Dodge, Iowa, and that is where that's where the store is. It's right across. There's a parking lot that you'll cross. Actually, technically it's like two parking lots because you'll go past the wash bay as well. But yeah, you'll go into there anyways. You'll probably get a walkthrough. Meet with your driver manager, meet with some of the different departments as well. They usually come in and speak, like the safety department when they can, and get the introductions that way. And there's also the contact information, speaking of meeting with the different departments within your workbook, which is huge. But yes, you will get to go over to Fort Dodge to the company store. Missoula also has a mini store. It's there's actually quite a bit there, but compared to the Fort Dodge one, it is, it's about half the size. But it has different stuff in it. So it's not the same stuff. Jason has a little bit of fun with that one, where Steph has a lot of fun with the other one, with ordering. And then we do have some items in Bessemer as well, but the main two locations for stores are going to be Fort Dodge, by far, and then Missoula, Montana. So yeah. We also have an online store. Whew, almost forgot to mention that. We do have the online store, and if you want to get ahead of the game, although it's the 4th, you probably wouldn't get it before you get to orientation. But we do have the online store that you guys can check out too if you go to our website, DeckerTruckline.com. Now, as for applying for a job, it's drivedecker.com. But if you're looking to look at the company store, or if you're looking for an office position, then you'd be going to DeckerTruckline.com. So there you have it. All right. Let's see, what else am I missing here to give you the details on? We talked a little bit about benefits. I don't know if I mentioned that the 401k is a 50% match. It does also start after 60 days, and it's through Principal Financial, which Principal Financial has 100 different resources, I swear. Maybe 100, might be more or less, I have no idea, but tons of resources available to you on just managing your finances in general. Some of the resources they have are to help us understand, for those of us who are getting closer to retirement. I'm not there yet, I've got a ways, but Marsha, congratulations to Marsha Goodale. She just retired. I almost said graduated. She just retired on Friday, so she will definitely be missed, but hopefully she enjoys her retirement and was prepped, because Principal Financial, they do a fantastic job of helping to educate us and offering resources to us, everything from webinars to PDFs and resources to help us prep for retirement and to understand once we're in retirement. So just along the way, they have all those different levels of education for us. Speaking of, now that I say that, let me double check and see if there is an upcoming webinar that might be useful for you guys. Oops, hang on. I'm scrolling. If I have an issue with my stream, it's probably because of that. Yes, okay, webinar series. Oh, that's for FedLogic. I'm sorry. FedLogic is also one of our benefits that we offer. And Wednesdays, usually there's one Wednesday of every month, they'll host a seminar that covers a variety of topics, that are relevant to our members. And really what FedLogic is helping you to discover or maybe match you with benefits available for, beneficial resources, I should probably say, is a better way to describe it. So if you have, say, a surgery coming up and you're trying to maneuver that surgery on maybe how financially how you're covering that, maybe you're looking for disability and how to work and manage with a major illness or injury. That's really what those webinars are all about. And there's a lot of them out there, but they're usually monthly. Let's see, June is on the 26th, I think. Yeah, so that one's coming up. But as far as, I was trying to think, the next webinar there's a Medicare webinar coming up, I believe, as well. But yeah, there's a lot of information that'll be available to you if you log in to not only our insurance and our 401k resources, but also our EAP. Our EAP is our employment or employee assistance program. And speaking of resources and all kinds of information and webinars available. Our EAP program is free to our professional drivers and their families, and our in-house as well, and their families, but tons of resources and information there that can help you from anything from estate planning to dealing with kids going off to college, or kids going to preschool or high school, or dealing with adult care or addictions and things like that. There's so many resources available to you guys there. If you have questions, let me know. Asim, hi, how are ya? We're doing good. I'm glad you're able to join us. Yeah, I think benefits wise, I think I pretty much covered most of them. I'm sure there's others that I haven't, because our benefits program is quite extensive. But yeah, we do have quite a bit. I want to take a minute to announce our driver of the month. May was our April, I should say. April scorecards and safety bonuses, those come out usually around the third pay period of the month following when you ran it. So last week, basically, you got that, or the week before. And then following that, we announce our driver of the month. Our driver of the month program is really what sets the individuals up for the driver of the year. And the driver of the year, of course, turns in towards our biggest championship award, which is the Grand Champion. That's a $15,000 prize. But it all starts with driver of the month. So the driver of the month for our 5 divisions in our refrigerated, for April, our refrigerated, more regional positions for the refrigerated and dry van, I should say. Jason Sneed is our winner for that division. Teresa Cheek is our runner-up, so congratulations. By the way, you can only win this 1 year within the calendar year for driver of the month. You can only win 1 year. 1 month per year. There you go. In our over-the-road refrigerated dry van division, Chad Hazelton took the title, and Lydia Dietrich is our runner-up. So congratulations to Lydia. Our flatbed Midwest division, there we go, John Jablanc took the title, so congratulations to John. And our Southern Flatbed winner, Robert Skiles. So that's our over-the-road flatbed division. Robert took the title there, and Avery Reed is our runner-up for that division. And for our owner-operator lease purchase division, driver of the month winner, Jerry Arthur. So congratulations to Jerry as well. Joe says, do they have stuff for me to get for my semi-truck? Yes or no? We have some things, yes. For instance, seat covers. Seat covers are there at the terminal. There are some windshield covers as well if you're looking for that. What all are you looking for? Will we have ID cards? Yes or no? Yes. You will have, you'll have basically a badge for the most part, but when you come in, you'll be assigned a truck when you complete orientation. So you'll have that truck number when it comes to coming into like the welcome center and stuff like that. You'll have to keep track of that, obviously, because you're getting in and out of it, but you'll have to keep track of that number for maintenance as well. You'll also be given a driver code or a driver ID, and that is how you will log in to your information. That's how you will log into your tablet. And that it'll be your driver code at deckermail.com. Don't get confused, or don't assume that you'll be able to access that email because it's a non-accessible email. It's just really to log in to the tablet. But yes, you'll be given that information. But yes, there's definitely some stuff that you can get at the store for your truck itself. But they are very well equipped, so you shouldn't need a whole lot. Oh, as for now that you say that though, as for bedding, you'll want to bring bedding, or where you're staying for the hotel, they are close to Walmart and TJ Maxx, and there's several different Marshalls. There's a few different locations, so if you need to pick up bedding once you're here, you can do that as well. But yeah, that'll be there. It is an extra long twin is the size of the bed. So if you want fitted sheets, that's what you'll get, or that's what you'll want to get. Asim says, good night, everyone. It's tired today, so get some sleep before. Oh, you have a great one. Thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us. Yeah, so that is the orientation process. That is a little bit of information on our available positions, our benefits, when they start and what they are. And of course, of the details about the trucks and all of the amenities. And there are a lot. Joe, if you have yet to do so, please go check out the rest of our YouTube channel because there's a ton of videos on our equipment and some of the amenities that come in it. And that way you can kind of see the layout of it. Most likely the 579 Peterbilts are what you'd be assigned because that's the majority of our trucks. But it is totally based on availability at the time. So there you go. Asim, good luck to you. Hopefully all works well. Excellent. All right. Well, I do appreciate everything that you guys have done. Looks like my computer is giving me wind warnings. Imagine that. I told you it was rough. Let me see if I can get this opened up and find out if it's wind just for my area. 61 degrees and windy. Yes, that we know. It's thinking too hard. What's it say? It is. Wind warning. Everything is in red. High wind warning. Yes. Where all does it go? Looks like it is across the board. And then, of course, Wyoming is hit there too. Flatbed Trucker says. You're welcome. All right, you guys, I appreciate your time today. If you have more questions, feel free to continue within the chat or comments because I will answer them as they come in. Otherwise, reach out to our recruiting department, 877-433-2537. They're there to also answer questions, of course. And if you are ready to apply, if this sounds like it's right up your alley, then you can go to drivedecker.com and apply, and we will do our best to get you approved and get you rolling. Take care, you guys. Have an awesome rest of your week. Bye-bye.